Hey guys, Brazen Cup second workout here, deadlift box jump ladder. Both athletes will be standing behind the bar in a taped off area. You will have your own area to do your deadlifts and box jumps, plenty of room to do both movements. Athletes will be standing behind their bar at the count of 3, 2, 1, at full extension, hips and knees open, shoulders behind the bar. You will then, the athlete will say, the judge will say start, you reach down to your bar, pick up the bar, stand in full extension, shoulders behind the bar, hips and knees open all the way. Any grip is absolutely welcomed. You cannot bounce the bar deliberately off the ground. There must be control going down and up. Mechanical awareness is not the judge's responsibility that you are doing it right or that your back is staying tight. It's the judge's responsibility to count out loud to you so that you can hear the reps along the way. Once the athlete finishes all of her deadlift reps, she will then go to her box jump reps. She will jump on top of the box. She will show control, stand at full extension, hips and knees open. Once the judge says 1, that is a confirmed rep. You'll say 1. They will step or jump down. Both feet land on the box. Show control at the top. There is no rebounding off the box. You must show control, and it can be done very quickly. 1 and step or jump down. Let's show one from the side here of leaning back on a box jump. So we cannot jump back. You must show control standing up. And I just want you to lean back for me, and then just lean back. It has to be control. So she stood up and she was falling back, moving. No reps. You must stand up, show control. 1. And then down quickly, step or jump down. The scaled athletes have an option to step up. They can step up, show full extension at the top. They must open their hips and knees at the top. Once the athlete chooses step-ups, they must stay with step-ups and follow that routine. You cannot go back and forth from step-ups to box jumps, step-ups to box jumps. Once you pick a pattern, you stay with that pattern, okay? Once this athlete finishes her round of her completed reps here, she will then, is required to stand and then slap her partner 5. Then that athlete will begin the movement, standing at full extension. This athlete cannot start until that athlete has high 5 turn. You have to be, and that is the moment of transition for the athletes. This athlete will then perform her deadlifts and box jumps, all of her reps. Once she finishes on top of the box, she will then show control and high 5 this, her athlete, to go again for the 3rd round. Once she finishes all her reps and deadlifts in the box jump, standing, boom, good. This athlete will finish her 4th round. The 4th round for the team. She's doing 2 rounds, she's doing 2 rounds. Once they've completed 4 rounds, they use the remaining time for rest within the 3 minutes. So if this team gets done within 2 minutes and 30 seconds, they finish all their reps, they have 30 seconds to rest, and then they will progress into the minute 3 to minute 6 range. They will then perform 4 rounds of their reps in the 3-minute to 6-minute range, performing all the necessary requirements to fulfill those needs, high 5s, standing at full extension, showing control. Once they finish those of the 3-minute to 6-minute range, if they do those 4 rounds in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, which is 4 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, they will then use the 20 seconds to rest inside their box. They cannot remove themselves from their box. Once the time clock hits 6 minutes, the judge will then say done or go, whatever cue they need to move the athletes to the transition area, and they'll transition over to pull-ups or ring rows. The athletes will come over to the pull-up rig, and they will then perform as RX'd pull-ups. You can do any variation of grip, pronated, supinated, mixed grip, but the chin must be over the bar. You can strict pull up, you can kip, you can butterfly, but what we want to see is the arms at full extension before every pull up is performed. And the chin reaches over the bar every time. If this athlete drops from the bar, this athlete must perform. They must slap 5, and then she will perform her pull-ups. Chin over the bar, any variation of grip and any variation of pull-up. but they must reach full extension every time. The athlete can hang and wait on the bar until if they want to wait a second and then do another pull-up, but once the athlete drops from the bar, they must high-five a transition or side-five a transition, and then that athlete will then perform their pull-ups. Max effort in 2 minutes. Max effort pull-ups in 2 minutes. Again, once the athlete drops from the bar, they must make that transition of a high-five or side slap, and then they can go to the bar. For scaled athletes, there will be a set of rings set up. There will be a piece of tape, 1 foot in front of the athlete's rings. The athlete must place the feet on the tape. They will then lean back to full extension, legs bent or legs straight. Either way, it doesn't matter as long as the feet are on the tape that is 1 foot in front of their rings. If the athlete's feet move from that position at any point, forward or backward, there is a no rep and they must return the feet to that position. Starting in full extension, the elbows are starting at full extension. They are then going to pull themselves to the rings. Rings touching the chest, and then returning to full extension. You can pull strict, or you can kip, which is lowering the hips and then extending, but the feet must stay there. We're fine with the butt touching the ground, but they must show extension of the elbows at the bottom, and the chest must touch the rings at the top. Some portion of the torso must touch the hands or the rings. There must be a connection between those two body parts. Again, kipping or strict is allowed as long as they keep the feet on the marker the entire time. Okay? Once the athlete lets go of the rings, they will then high five. If the high five is not made, any reps after the no high five are not counted, the judge must quickly notify them and say you must transition with a high five. The reason for the high five is to show smooth transition between all athletes and that no athletes are going sooner than any other athletes. All standards will be reviewed the day of, and you will be reminded of all these standards the day of.